Okay, so here is part 2 of the text messages. I'm actually gonna have to probably break it up into 3 parts, maybe 4 if I keep finding new ones, but as we look right now, I think it's gonna be in 3 parts. So I'm trying to make them like, like around 40 minutes apiece, something around there. But okay, so here it is. The next group of messages are from the Lorson Ranch Residents group. That's their neighborhood that they lived in. It's like a neighborhood group. So T says, Tony, after school, 3:15 to 4ish. Sarah says, T, call them again. And Tony says, T, checking now, T. I'm a few doors down to the south. And T says, Tony, thank you. And then T says, she's responding to Sarah's comment where Sarah says, call them again. So T says, we have over and over, and they kept telling us no one is available. So Ashley says, was he home and then went back out after school? Just want some clarification. And T responds, Ashley, he was home and every day they have to ride laps or play outside after school and can stay out till 6. But see, I don't understand why she's not clarifying that he didn't go to school. Because she says, oh, somebody must ask her what time or whatever. So they're probably checking their video or whatever they were checking, that person in the last message. And he answers, oh, around 3:34ish after school. Why not specify he didn't go to school? And then this person, Ashley's asking, oh, was he home and then went back out after school or just like went from school, or she's trying to get like some details. And then instead of T clarifying that he didn't go to school, that he stayed home from school that day, she doesn't tell them. She just says he was home and every day they have to ride laps or play outside after school and can stay out till 6. I mean, if somebody that doesn't know he stayed home, that doesn't necessarily sound like, oh, he stayed home sick from school. Because she's asking, was he home and then went back out after school? So it sounds like she's just saying, "Oh, no, he was home." And she's saying, every day they have to ride laps or play outside after school and can stay out till 6. So it's almost like T saying, he came home after school and then went back out. That's what Ashley's probably going to think instead of no, he was never at school. But anyway, so Ashley says, T, okay, gotcha. What time did he last check in? By the way, I'm in the new build area and checked out cameras. Didn't see anything here. Sarah says, I don't know if it's not a rule anymore, but when I rode the bus, we were not allowed to get off on any other stop than our own unless we have a note from our parents. I would start with the bus driver, if anyone can get a hold of someone at the school of district. So right there, she should be like, he didn't go to school, so he wasn't on the bus. But instead, she says, Sarah, we have covered that too. He was here after the bus came. Thank you. It's like she's lying. She's misleading them and lying, making it seem like he came home after school on the bus. So anyway, Sarah says, T, just sick for you. Like she's feeling bad for T. As T's misleading this group of people, making it seem like he went to school. I mean, she's not correcting any of them. You could tell they all think that he went to school because the way she's just letting it go and the way she's not correcting and just the way she's answering things and what she's saying. There's people that already know he didn't go to school. Al knows, the school knows, everybody knows. So it's not like you're fooling anybody, but this poor group of people that is just trying to help you, they don't know that specific right now. They're gonna find out. So I mean, why is she misleading them? Just tell them. It's so weird. Like she does this in a couple different groups. It's like they're trying to figure it out, and she just like makes him think that yeah, he went to school. She doesn't say no, he stayed home from school. So I don't know why though. She's just being a jerk or just trying to throw, well, I guess never mind. It makes sense how she told everybody all these different stories. She just like messing with people, sending people this group, oh, we'll tell this group this, we'll this group that. It does. It follows her MO. Like a pathological liar for no reason, just make up all these lies. I mean, sometimes they have a reason to, get her out of trouble or whatever, but the excessiveness of the lies don't. It makes no sense. Like all those different stories, she could have just stuck with one story when she told Al. She's just a pathological liar. She's one of those people that just lies for no reason. She has a problem. And lying isn't her biggest of her problems. Her biggest problem is she's a evil freaking monster. And then she's a pathological liar too. Let's get back on track. So Sarah says, sometimes they answer their emails this late. So now, like I said, no particular order, but T says, okay, so this looks like it's a different text thread. I don't know what it's, if it's in the same group or what, but it looks like this James guy sent somebody or a picture, video, whatever, of somebody that he thought could be Gannon. So T says, James, definitely close. My only thing is he didn't have a jacket on in that video, but he could have left it somewhere. And James says, every other kid that time of day was heading the opposite direction. That's why it seems strange, and I posted it. It is on Stingray walking from Lorson Road towards Declaration. And Treva says, does he walk like that? Is that how he wears his hair? We can get other neighbors to pull your ring if that's him. James could be onto something. So T says to James, he did ask me yesterday, another going to Stingray, but we went hiking. I'm going to let my husband look too. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any other messages with James that I could see, or that I have, that I could find. So then we have this one right here. So T says, update, he was seen on several different camera footages that was sent to me, and there was black sports car very close on one. She is, knowing it's a lie, because she knows exactly where he is, but sending all these people off in different directions, wasting their time, valuable time and money, searching and doing all they can to try to find Gannon because of her evilness. But anyway, so Jane says, Tanya, Gary, Kelly. Whatever that means. I think she's just tagging those three people. Carrie says, what time and where? Jacqueline says, T, can you prove an accurate description of what he was wearing? Or is jeans and a blue sweatshirt accurate? And Saul says, T, thanks for the update. As a mother, I could only imagine what you're going through right now. My thoughts and prayers are with you and the family. Can you update the neighborhood what he was wearing? Color of jacket, book bag, bicycle? And T says, Saul, blue jacket. He had his bike at one point but switched with his sister. So he would be on foot now, unless he got in a car with someone. No book bag on. Blue jeans and tennis shoes. Jacket had a hood. Sometimes he wore it and sometimes he didn't. 4'10", about 90 pounds. And Sarah says, what time did you last see him? And what time did Dad last see him? And then Tanya says, T. Stout, Jane. But she's probably just tagging T and Jane. Okay, so now we have between Al and Tisha. So Al is the gray and Tisha is the blue. So Al says, he said something about a friend. Bath salts are dangerous. And Tisha says, he asked me yesterday, were they the same as salts? I told Harley and she was like, Mom, the bad ones. And I just told him, no, bath bombs weren't the same. I'll ask him why he asked you. And Al says, and the kids need to stay off TikTok. And then Tisha's like, okay, is that bad? And he said, don't worry about it. He was just asking to see what they were. And Al says, he is talking about a friend that brother has a car and doing a sleepover. Same kid that asked about bath salts. Absolutely not. And Tisha says, I haven't let him ever do a sleepover, and he will not sleep over. We don't even have bath salts. Is it like the ones for the tub? And Al says, yes, research it. It's bad. It's kind of like meth. I think when they use them for drugs, it's deadly. And then she sends him a picture, says spruce bath salts, and she asks this. It's a question mark. And Al says, I think. And Tisha says, he came in my room asking me about it last night, and I gave him a bath bomb. He took 2 baths. I just thought he was dirty from pants. And Al says, it's fine for baths. So I'm pretty sure this is probably that day, right? The 27th? Isn't that when this is? So she's trying to like plan her reasoning on why maybe Gannon ran away, or, trying to get like a game plan on giving a reason why Gannon's not there. So I feel like she's trying to like now stage it where it looks like, he's hanging out with bad kids and he wants to do bath salts. So like maybe he ran away with his friends. So she's trying to like lay out a reason why Gannon could possibly want to run away. And then she even stages these texts to Al with Gannon's phone, pretending to be Gannon, asking about bath salts. Before Al is even aware that Gannon's gone, he thinks he's really talking to his son about bath salts. So that's why when he's talking to Tisha about this, he thinks, Gannon did contact him about that. But he comes to learn later that it's Letitia pretending to be Gannon. So let's go to the next thread. Okay, so we'll move on. It says Jada's post. She is literally on 24/7 and she reads my messages instantly, always, and replies till yesterday. So this person that said that she's been talking to Tisha and she just stopped replying all of a sudden, so she thinks something's going on. And then, okay, so she says, I can tell you all this. For the first time, her Facebook Messenger is silent with no activity for over 14 hours. And she says, we had several chats before I was even in here, and she opened up to me about what was going on, etc. I joined this group and then began to really see what she was about and pay attention to the case. Did you get any truth out of her? Somebody asked, and she says, she has family that are from where I am and relatives that I know, etc. A very loose connection, but was enough for her to tell me things. And she told me she was going to be very rich. Her words were like Hollywood rich when this was all said and done. I don't know who they're talking to, is blacked out, but it says, same. Mine says last active yesterday. So they're kind of like wondering because that's not like Tisha. She's usually all over, reads the messages instantly. And this person says, she told me that Albert knows better and wants nothing more than his family to be together. This other person says, sounds just like her. The sad part is she very may well be Hollywood rich when this is over, if they don't nail her on this. Maybe that's why he's so quiet. He is working. They talk every day to each other, several times a day. Geez, that's awful. Sounds like she aspires to be Casey Anthony. Have you left or any new messages? I think it's supposed to be, have you left her any new messages? And then they say, her message from me is still not even seen. And she definitely doesn't go to bed at 8 p.m. and sleep in. She's usually on 24/7. So something most certainly is unusual going on with her. So we have at 12:44 a.m. on a Wednesday, somebody says to her, tell the truth and give Gannon the respect he deserves. Why can't you let him RIP? And she says at 11:45 p.m. on Saturday, so she took like 3.5 days to respond. She says, I hope that you could find it in your heart to just have faith and believe in my innocence. I know it's hard, but throw the first stone, crucify me, tie me down, and beat me yourself if it comes out that I am guilty. So I'm sure you are a good person and maybe even have kids, and I know you probably have anger. I understand, but give me a chance, and I swear to you in the end, you will see I didn't hurt Gannon. Thank you. Okay, well, look what she said. If she's guilty, throw the first stone, crucify her, tie her down and beat her. Well, you're guilty, so well, okay, we'll wait for the verdict and then anyway, all right. Okay, so Shannon says, you're disgusting. Trashing a mother who's missing her child because of her past? Like you don't have your own lengthy track record? Everyone has their skeletons. If you want to come on here talking about all this stuff, let's get to the truth about why you left with Gannon and didn't return. And T says, mine doesn't involve giving up my kid. And Shannon says, T, no, yours has to do with assault charges and the cause of one disappearing. Oh, you get her, Shannon. You get her. So, okay, so T says doing drugs. So I'm not sure she's saying that because I don't know if this is the one that comes right after that message because I'm trying to put them in the best order that I could tell. But is she trying to say that that's what her charges are? Or is she trying to say Landen is? I'm not sure. But she says doing drugs, and then Shannon says, T, no, yours has to do with assault charges and the cause of one disappearing. So that doesn't make sense because that looks like you could see that that's not, because this is the same message and that's not the one before. So the Shannon must have just copied and pasted and repeated it, right? Which is fine. But okay, so yeah, she's doing drugs. And so Shannon says, Says, no, yours has to do with assault charges and the cause of one disappearing. And then T says robbing people. So I think T's trying to say, yeah, like her charges have to do with robbing people, like her own. Like T's talking about herself. And then Shanna says, T, why are you so concerned about everyone else's accusations if you aren't guilty of something? Shouldn't you be worried about Gannon and where he is? If it were my stepchild, I'd be right there giving the middle finger to everyone. And I'd be out doing everything I could be from the start, including going to the vigils. Instead, you're on here bashing Landen and making sure you talk so highly and solely about. So that, I don't know. I don't have the rest of that conversation. Okay, so here's another screenshot of a different conversation. So Kristen says, you were the last to see this poor child, and you were supposed to protect him, but you want to trash his birth mother no matter her past. Probably supposed to be no matter what her past is, you're the one that failed him, not her. You failed at protecting him and not being there like you claimed that's all you have done. But yet, where is he? And T says, actually, your facts are wrong. And Kristen says, T, how do you figure? You're saying she has a past, but he was in your protection. And T says, her past? LOL? Whatever. It was her present. Give me a break. She knows where he is. And Cameron says, T, so videos lie? Interesting. And Sarah says, Cameron, T Stout. That didn't look like T in the video. I keep saying this. That's not her. T, was it you? Maybe I'm blind. And yeah, cuts out. I don't have the rest of that. I wish I did. If I don't, maybe she didn't respond, but if she did, I would love to see how she responds about that person saying, "Oh, it doesn't look like you in the video. Is that you?" Probably lies and is like, "Oh no, that's not even me." Just like she says she didn't back into the driveway, and those are from wrong days, and like the videos lie, or somebody's gonna edit these videos and commit a felony by editing a video that the FBI has and lying about it. Yeah, people aren't that dumb. I take that back. People are that dumb. Look at Letitia. There are dumb people. I mean, I hate to say dumb people, but like people that just don't think. They do the silliest things. So here's a big group of messages that I try to put in the right order. So, I mean, there definitely is some missing because you could tell when you have like a message here and then one at the top and it might not match, but okay. So T says, so T's the gray and then the other person's blue. So T says, so basically I have two choices: admit to something I didn't do in an accident form to get lesser time, or still get charged and convicted of something I didn't do because I can never have a trial in Colorado. So that's it, right? And then this person says, if you were innocent, then of course I would never admit to doing something that you didn't do. They have to have proof to charge you, but I think they're trying to build a case against you. And then T says, proof that I drove to Petco? Or half evidence that they only have one side of a truck? What evidence, though, since you have experience? And this person says, I'm not sure what all they have right now. Everything in those groups is speculation, and some of it is crazy. And Tisha says that he was having a few days of silly accidents. They can't blame me of him starting a fire and having blood. And they seen the candle. And this person says, how much blood did they find in the garage? And T says, and the fire people investigated. And this person says, something that would be explained away by a small cut? And T says, yes, in the garage. And this person says, what was it? Just a small amount? And T says, plus Albert cut his finger off in the garage. This person says, they can tell whose blood it is. And T says, that was, man, I can't read that. The arrow is blocking it. That was something. And some got on the wood. We turned the wood over. And this person says, with DNA, they would be able to tell it was Albert's. And T says, yes, and G's was on the wood from a small injury. I mean, everyone has blood in their house. With kids present, that's they may have cleaned up or got cut. This person says, yes, that's true. And then T says, and not to mention, they let them live in a supposed crime scene for 7 days. And the person says, is the house off limits? And T says, yeah, now, not the first 10 days, which I wasn't even there. And this person says, they're definitely building the case against one of you guys. Do they still have your vehicles? And then T says, but you keep saying that, building a case?
Like, what evidence is there that I hurt anyone? Because I didn't. And this person says, well, if they can't find Gannon, then it's going to be circumstantial. Where do you think he could be? And T says, I don't know. And I do have the Baez law firm. Liar. We've seen the Baez says, nope, that's a lie. Anyway, but they are just pre investigation right now. So people there would need to contact them, you know? And I'm doing a polygraph today. I know it can't be used, but to prove to them. And this person says, a polygraph is a good idea. Who is doing it? Someone you chose or someone the police chose? And T says, I wasn't talking to anyone. That was all these butt jumps with fake accounts and cloning profiles. No, the police didn't ask. I told Albert to pick someone and call them.
So I'm here now, waiting for them to call me back. So remember, Tisha's the gray. And then this person says, I think that's a good idea. And even if the police don't use it, at least Albert will be back on your side. And T says, Mel, I didn't do this. I'm sure you have heard that before. Then they will not be able to prove that you did. Stay strong and be truthful about everything, or the lie detector will pick it up.
And then this is the one where here it's not going to continue on to the right one. Or we might be missing just the end of this. And then we're missing the beginning of that. But oh well. Probably missing a few texts in between. But yeah, to let them keep going on these groups. It only helps because it hurts a potential trial, etc. This person says, the public opinion means nothing. I think if they really suspected you, they would be grilling you and questioning you, trying to make you confess.
Yeah, and at this point, he don't want to go bouncing around who he is. That will bring attention like crazy. And the person says, I agree. Keep everything quiet. And he technically is pretty investigative. And then she corrects it and says like pre-investigative.
And he says, yeah, I don't trust anyone having it, but would meet someone to verify the source. And the person says, send it to the police. And T says, no way. And the person says, lawyer? And T says, even though it's not admissible, attorneys can still use it in a closing argument and then pretend to tell the jury to forget it. Yeah, attorney said no way to give it to them. I begged them for one 2 weeks ago. This person says, I really hope that this is not going to go to a trial. And T says, that's on them. They lost that window of opportunity. I'll work with them when they stop harassing me and agree to look at another person. But until then, they have been horrible to me. Yeah, because they could have lost precious time looking in the wrong direction. So do you think he got some messages there again? She says, yes. And at this point, I can't help but be defensive. And this person says, there's so many rumors out there, I don't even know anything that is true. And he says, same. I don't know what happened. I really don't. And then they say, but I did hear police say not to listen to social media. So they must be aware of all the rumors. T says, yes, they are, but you know the police world.
So this person says, if the test goes in your favor, turn it over to law enforcement so they can turn their focus elsewhere. He says, February 18th, 2020 at 12:27 p.m., she says, I have finished it. And the person says, when will you get the results? She says, waiting here now to find out. Not the results, but when. And this person says, is somebody with you? And he says, no, it was in a private room with someone who was certified. Is that bad? And this person says, no, I just meant, is there someone there for moral support? T says, oh, okay. I was like, oh my God, they said no one.
And this person said, if you pass, I will be having it sent to law enforcement. If you don't, I wouldn't mention that you even took it. And T says, okay, will it just say pass or fail? They just said I should have the results within 24 hours. Is that normal? Like on TV, they start telling people then, or is that TV? This person said, you're the only person the results are going to, right? And T says, yes. They asked me if I wanted to sign a release form to anyone, but then said I could always do that later. And this person says, definitely do it later. And T says, yeah, I did. And then this person says, okay, I'm surprised law enforcement hasn't asked you to take one. They will usually do that to rule somebody out if they have suspicion in the beginning. And T says, I asked, but they kept saying they can't use it. Only some states
can't use it in court, but they do use it to rule people out. Okay, maybe that's what they meant. And then this person said, did you get results yet? And now it's February 18th, 2020 at 11 p.m. So this is the same day, but in the night, because that was in the afternoon, 12:20. Now it's 11 at night. She says, yeah, with the thumbs up. The person says, awesome, thank God. What did Albert say? And T says, I only told him. And this person says, hopefully this will make him believe you. And T says, I'm not showing anyone but in person. So basically what she's saying is she didn't show Albert because she's not with Al, remember? Right after this happened, she's not even with him physically. So that's just an excuse if this person talks to Al and Al's like, I never seen him. I never seen the test results. Well, because she's right there saying, I'm not showing anybody except in person because we know she never got him. She tried to get that fake one and they refused her. And then this person says, it's already all over the group. I read about it half hour ago. Let me see if I could find. And T says, honestly, Mel, if I came off insensitive, I went into defense mode. I've had to defend these kids for years from harm, and I thought it was someone we knew. Person says, I heard Biomom had some issues. And T says, beyond mine and your comprehension. A gal placed them in my custody while Albert was away. Then when we got to Colorado Springs, they only shared custody for technical reasons, but they lived with us and visited her on holidays. No. I mean, she did have that, but all this other stuff happened before. The high risk only came into play in the end after they were already with us in Alaska. And then we do have a date here for this next text. This is February 19th, 2020 at 12:50 a.m. I said it's just shy of a month since his disappearance. T says, wow, I'm sorry. Mel says, how long ago did you guys leave South Carolina? All right, so that's all I have right now on that. So T is the gray. So somebody says to her, where's Gannon? What's done in the dark always comes to light. Always. I also don't know if that was the case. I was asking if that was what happened. There's a reason. And T says, exactly. You will see. Thanks. Give it a few days, I promise. Believe and pray. And this person says, well, I am praying he is okay. This case has captivated me tremendously. He is so young and deserves to live a prosperous life. He has made an impact on this earth, and I am praying he comes home. Like I said, these are just some random ones. So they're just cutting in and out of conversations, but this is what we got to work with here. Okay. So she says, but they won't. And this person says, they are not helping you, protect you, I mean. They are in the areas when they do shut down the borders. They should have released the description. Somebody says, like an Amber Alert? And T says, at the time, I couldn't remember. This person says, do you think he ran off and got lost? Or do you actually think someone took him? And she said, someone took him. This one's kind of blurry because it's zoom in so much. Okay, so April says, T, do you know why a reward has not been put out? And T says, because they're too busy collecting it for his piece of crap mom, who don't need it. If she cared, she'd donate that to finding him. And then Chris says, April, actually, some women yesterday offered $5,000 on one of the groups. And Lauren says, trashing the mother of a missing child, regardless of her past, does nothing to make you look good. It reeks of desperation. And T says, I don't give a crap. Wake up. She isn't a mother. Open your eyes. She has something to do with it. And Lauren says, T, no one is worried about her mothering skills. Everyone is worried about bringing Gannon home. And T says, I'm not desperate for anything because I haven't done anything. And Lauren says, T, then why the need to continuously defend yourself? Keep your head down and cooperate with the police until Gannon is home. And Kristen says, wow, this is so uncalled for. Not only bashing his birth mom, but also calling out all these neighbors that helped you look for this poor little guy. And T says, not the neighbors who helped, the ones who hide behind keyboards, but didn't say anything at the vigil. And Susan says, Kristen, she's attention seeking. Susan said, wow, seriously? And T says, yes, she isn't a mother. Susan said, T, don't you think this is a bit uncalled for? Seriously? T says, nope, wasn't uncalled for to treat me that way. Street goes both ways. Susan said, T, their child is missing and you want to start online drama for no freaking reason? Grow up. Okay, so this is with Landen, Gannon's mom, his biological mom, his real mom. I mean, it's more than a biological mom. This is his mother. Tisha doesn't even deserve to be called Gannon's mom. So yeah, Landen, Gannon's mom says, so it cuts into mid-message, but somebody says, education teacher, I can't even begin to imagine your pain, your fear, or your grief. Please be brave. Much love and strength headed your way from myself and my family. And Landon says, and my drug problem is smoking. I hate that term. Never not worked. Never lost my kids. Patricia says, Landon, oh my God, I can so relate here in Georgia. Some make it seem as if it's so bad knowing.
Soon it's going to be 100% legal. I wish I could. Cuts off. So now this is from Landen. She's writing this. She says, "Thank you so much. Stayed at our house one night with my brother, and my aunt came the next day. Flew out Tuesday. Been set up at a hotel. Not with Al, just my girl and family. Gannon has ADHD and takes meds only for school. When his stomach is upset with his normal issues, he does not miss school. I'm not placing blame. Things just don't add up. Those pictures were after Albert and before my latest husband. I had the children up until March with shared custody with Albert and T. We switched when I was having issues with having my child. Was in the hospital from March to September, left after Hurricane Florence. As far as drugs, I smoke. I have had hard times, yes, but never left my children. I had to make that decision. I talk with my kids every night when I can reach them. Also fly and visit. They just left South Carolina on January 5th to come back home. I visited for Halloween for Gannon's birthday. Yeah, in September, but was spread out enough before the next time I could fly to see them. Tickets are expensive and I work full time, so I fly when I can. I've never lost any rights to my children. We all had custody with residents being here." And then here's like a separate post where Landon writes, "I was in the hospital having my youngest. I am extremely high risk and was hospitalized from March to September. Came home after Hurricane Florence. During that time, it was best for Lena and G to go with their dad. We switched times. We have shared custody with dad being primary residence." And then somebody says, "Landon, you don't have to explain yourself, but I am very sorry for what you had to endure. And my prayers are with you and your precious son." And Landon says, "Alyssa, it's a nightmare and I need my baby and I hope and pray." And it cuts off. So here's this Peyton Marie that's suspected to possibly be one of T's alts. And if I'm wrong and this person's real, email me. I mean, I could be wrong, but T had a bunch of alts when this all first happened. And you'll see as I read them why I think maybe this is one of them. Let me know if you guys have any details, if it is, or if it's a real person. Okay. So she says, "They definitely had info, lots of it, and told her she was covering for her and so many other illegal searches, like a WTF. Not to mention, it's bad enough for everyone to live this nightmare. But then for someone to get ransom text, but no reward is offered? The recent Snapchat of Gannon, still no reward? And keep telling the family they don't know where the body is? Truth is, Gannon is out there, and they are searching in the snow. He is with someone, not in the snow. They dropped the ball on so many levels. What recent snap of Gannon? I agree, and he will regret this. It will be his worst mistake ever. I sent you a PM. Are they going to DNA test every piece of plywood they find on the side of the road? LOL. Seriously. It's like, even if it was, so what? People have been in and out of the home for weeks. Maybe they did it. Sounds like a witch hunt. Anyone could have grabbed anything out of the home. He is under stress, of course. But when you have a sheriff's office who refuses to do anything but dig in the snow and search ponds, you get manipulated. Not making excuses for him, but damn, find the real target. Ugh, this whole thing is crazy. Like they could instantly match a sock to the case? Whack. I'm sorry, but if I was T, there would be no coming back from this as far as marriage goes. I'd leave his ass. He has not defended her publicly at all. From the first interview, he has been a shitty husband in the public eye. I'd pray for Gannon, too. Oh, FFS. Sounds like Al's reaching now. Then called her and asked, did she hit him in the head with this wood and leave him somewhere else? Like, WTF. She has no motive to do any of this. And to leave one sock in the plywood? Get out of here. Are they done searching? Sounds like they didn't find much. What time is it in Colorado right now? And it says 5:13. So Peyton posts. So Al calls T and asks her about a sock and a piece of wood found beside the road on the search. Sure, big guy, try again. Maybe you put the sock there since you have been in and out of the crime scene. Or maybe you're lying because cops tell people what they find, right? Wait, this is El Paso, and they violate constitutional rights, so I'll give you that. How about you tell them that you chopped your finger off in the garage and that Gannon got hurt one time while you were teaching him to use a box cutter? He sucks just like he did at softball. Clean blood in the garage was from you and your hobbies. What a big jerk, okay? So this is Tisha saying that, well, I think it's Tisha in her alt, just pretending to be somebody that supports her, but she's freaking saying Gannon sucks at softball. Oh, he sucks just like he did at softball. I mean, read how evil she is. I mean, this is a kid you're talking about. 11-year-old kid. You're mad because he might not be good at softball? And you have to say he sucks at it. Like, basically, you're saying, oh, he sucks at everything. I'm sure he sucks at that, too. What a jerk. Okay, so her next post. So let me go ahead and clear this up. T was questioned illegally, but still for 11 hours and then slept for 5. So you can ask the police, Al, or anyone at the home. You know the one that was a crime scene with people living in it? Where the... And then it cuts off. And then Amy says, how do you know all of this stuff? Peyton says, Amy, because I am filtering and recording everything for T and her family. And then Wendy says, Peyton, did Al say what size of sock? And Peyton says, nope. And Wendy says, sorry you are in the middle of this. God bless your soul. I bet you are a wreck. Okay, so this is the T-Stalk support group that Peyton's an admin for. So it doesn't just reek of something T would do. Create her own support group and then create a fake person to be an admin to act like she has all this support. Because she created a bunch of alts. So to act like she has all this support. People that believe her and stuff. But it's all her. It's all fake. Oh my God, she's such a liar. Okay, so Matt says, I never doubted T for a moment during any of this case, and that has gotten me into trouble at times. I absolutely love these photos, though. I'm sure the anti-T crowd will rip this all apart, but if they're honest, you can clearly see Gannon is a happy love child in all his photos. His eyes prove it. I have a 12-year-old boy. He hates photos. Always looks like I'm torturing him to get photos, and he is well loved. So I can assure you, I understand fully a boy not wanting to be in photos. Let T know some of us have believed her from start, and still do. X. And Peyton says, that's okay. If people decide to continue to tear her down, statistics speak for themselves. Guilty people by now either move on and engage in erratic behaviors, including splurging or men, or sadly commit suicide. I think she's definitely one of the strongest people that I know to keep taking these punches, but I would too, to show my innocence. And Crystal says, thank you for sharing. Your insight is appreciated. Okay, so that's the end of part 2. Be looking for part 3. Should be coming up today, later on today or tomorrow. Because I have it pretty much all done. I just have to add. So it'll probably be more like tomorrow because I got to add some stuff to it. Okay, guys. Have a good one.
The sun, it shines for you. The grass is green, the sky is blue. And there you are, like you are. You're feeling so